Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you again for this Monday night. Great to be back on a weird short week for everyone in Australia. It's like a 3-day work week, and then we have another public holiday on Friday. So it's a bit of a strange long holiday week for most people. Most people, I don't know if they went back today. I think a lot of people did, but I think some people got time off and just had an extra long vacation. But hey, true crime never stops, and we have many updates. I thought I'd start the show now and just let you know some of the planning we've been up to. We are in the final hours before heading out to Morwell on the weekend to go to the Aaron Patterson trial. And we've been like, what do we need? Wait, how are we going to do that? Oh, we need like this. So it's been a lot of like running around, ordering a couple of things that we need, and because I can't take the streaming setup, so the setup that I have here, I can't take with me. So we're taking a laptop to stream out of in Morwell. And then we're like, well, what are we going to do about microphone? And we're like, well, I did buy like a little lapel type Bluetooth audio. And we're like, oh, can it run through the laptop? So we've been doing all this testing and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. Um, Speaking to other people that are going to the trial, trying to speak to the courthouse, trying to get more information on what to expect Monday morning, which I have not heard back from them. I'm waiting to hear back from the Latrobe Valley Court, trying to just asking like, what are we going to do on Monday morning? Like, how does that work? Um, I know I need ID. You have to go through a metal detector and things like that, but it's going to be a madhouse on Monday. There's going to be a lot of press there. There's going to be a lot of media, a lot of probably YouTubers like me. And I'm trying to find out for you guys if they are going to live stream the trial or not. And I just hope we don't get an email that's like, yeah, the trial's on Monday. We're live streaming it and we're not opening the gallery to anyone. Only approved people can be in the gallery. I haven't heard that yet. I hope that's not the case. A couple of people I know that are going to Morwell, they haven't heard anything either as of yet. I'm supposed to be meeting up with these people to do something else while I'm there, but they haven't heard anything either. So it's a lot of planning. We're in planning phase right now. Wendy R says, "Have a safe trip." Thank you. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. I appreciate it. It's a little stressful right now. Marlene says, "Mushroom detectors." Yes, for poisonous mushrooms. None of them can be brought into the courtroom. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I really wish they'd give us a few answers onto like, what to expect. Do we need to pass any sort of security clearance or something? Is there going to be more than one media room open? We don't know yet. The courthouse is not very big, so I'm concerned about how they're going to manage that with the amount of people that want to go to this trial. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. So the plan is going to go like this. I'm going on Sunday night. I'm going to go check into my hotel. I will probably do a show Sunday once we get to Morwell. Then on Monday, you guys probably won't see me until about lunchtime Australian time, and I am going to do some online streaming, but I'm just still working out for who and what and where. So you will get a lunchtime update from me. And then after court, I have some obligations that I need to fulfill. I don't know how long that's going to run for, but I have some prior stuff that I have to do. And then we will do a live show that'll go through everything from everything that would have aired in court that I'm allowed to legally say, you guys will hear on the show, and I will work through all of my notes from the day. We're not allowed to bring laptops in, so everything has to be written by hand. I have doctor's handwriting, so if I can't read like paragraphs of what I write throughout the day, we're just going to have to deal with that somehow. Um, and that's sort of going to be the routine. I will upload things as I can throughout the day, as we get breaks throughout the day. So we get a morning recess about 11:40 something, and then there's a lunch break about 1 o'clock, and the lunch break runs for about an hour. So you'll get a small update in the morning, possibly just on Twitter or something like that, and then I will do that something at lunchtime. We're working on it. We're trying to stream live from the front of the courthouse. So we're working on that now. We have a camera stabilizer, and we're hoping to stream at lunchtime from the front of the courthouse. So you guys will hopefully get a live stream from the front. Gayla says, can phones be taken in? I hope so. Otherwise, like, I don't know where I'm going to put my phone. I'd say so, but they have to be put on silent, is what I am guessing. Um, it's all a little like, it's all a little up in the air. I don't even know. I've tried to reach out to people and stuff, and no replies as of yet. So we're all a little in the dark right now. But that's the plan so far. So far, that is the plan for content and updates and things like that. So we will see. It's going to be a little up in the air for the first couple of days, I think. But so court should finish about 4 p.m. every day, and that is in about an hour and 10 minutes from now. I have an obligation that I probably have to do after court for a little while, and then I can come hang out with you guys. So it'll be 2 hours and 10 minutes from now, roughly, is when we'll do the large live stream every day, going through everything that happened in court. So that is the layout of the land for trial. Rachel said, I'm excited to follow along in real time with this trial. I'm trying to find out if they're going to stream on this Supreme Court YouTube page. I don't know. I'm waiting for, again, a reply from the courthouse. So I emailed them earlier today. I thought I would have heard back by now, but no luck yet. Carolina says we're going to need coffee here in the US. Yeah, it's going to be a late show, and I'm sorry about that, but we're literally locked in court all day. So once we head in, I think it's about don't know if we're starting at 9 or 10, but normally they start pretty early. We're locked in until break, so you can leave, but I don't think you can get back in. If you leave, I think during the trial, might have difficulties getting back into the courtroom. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, I will be online when I have breaks in whatever we're doing. And I'll be out there all week. So next week, Monday to Friday, I'll be out there. We're waiting to hear back whether they're having a court day on Friday or not. Just like in America, sometimes they don't run court 5 days a week down here. Sometimes they only do Monday to Thursday, and then they run Friday as sort of like any legal challenges or anything like that won't be broadcast to the jury or any witnesses. So it's like private. So it's sort of like pre-trial. Any kind of arguments or legal technicalities that they want to work out, they normally run them on a separate day. We're trying to find out if that is what's going to happen. If that is the case, and I'll come home Thursday evening, and I'll be home until Sunday night, and then I'll go back again to bloody Morwell. So heading out to the bloody country. All right. That's your update for that. We do have a show coming up later this week. We're going to run through all of this again, and I'll take you from day 0 of Aaron Patterson to where we are today. That'll be a little later this week. I'm still working on that. But this happened. So since I last saw you, this popped up in the news down here, and it's a really strange case. This woman's name is Audrey Griffin. Now, I remember when they found her body a little while ago, about a month ago. For weeks, the cops were like, there is no foul play here. There is nothing suspicious about this woman's death. Like, she just drowned and died. Like, it's very sad. There is nothing to see here. You do not need to have any suspicions in this particular case. Until yesterday, when they dropped a murder charge on a man for murdering Audrey Griffin, and he's been in court this afternoon. So it just happened out of nowhere. I don't know what kind of game they were playing, but even up until I think the media said, even the weekend before Easter, police were saying that this was no foul play, that there was no sinister, suspicious circumstances in her death. It is very strange. And now they've come up with a murder charge for a man. His name is Adrian Noel Torrens, and he is 53 years old. And the allegations here are police allege that Audrey was killed by the 53-year-old man following a physical altercation shortly after 3 a.m. on the 23rd of March. They say Griffin's death was not initially treated as suspicious, but further inquiries led to Torrens' arrest for murder. He spent the night in custody on remand and did not ask to be released when his matter was briefly mentioned in Sydney's Downing Centre local court on Tuesday. The 53-year-old was due to remain behind bars until his matter returns to Gosford local court on the 20th of June. And it's very strange. So back on the 24th of March, Audrey Griffin was discovered partially submerged in Erina Creek on the New South Wales Central Coast. And they just, the autopsy, they're like, oh, yeah, she drowned. It's very sad. She just sort of, died, accidental death. And then they pop out with a murder charge for this 53-year-old man. Now, from what I understand, she was trying to get home at the time. So she was walking home. She had hailed or tried to hail a cab or an Uber, but was unsuccessful in trying to get one. So she decided to walk towards her father's home, and she disappeared. The next day, on the 24th, her body was discovered in Erina Creek. So sometime that night, on the 23rd of March, shortly after 3 a.m., she seems to have come across Adrian Noel Torrens, and a physical altercation occurred where she was killed, drowned, by the sounds of it. Let me get you a video from back when this very first happened. That's not the right one. Yeah, let me try to get you one from back when this very first happened, if I can. That's not it. Okay. Let me take you out to 9 News. It's not the update I really want to do for you, but it's fine. Actually, Audrey Griffin. Nope. I'm trying to get. There's a longer video that explains where she was found, and I'm just trying to grab it. ABC. All right. All right, you guys are gonna have to watch the short one. Sorry about that. Can't play the big one, the long one.
3-year-old man will front court today after being charged with murder over the death of a 19-year-old woman on the Central Coast last month. The body of Audrey Griffin was found in Erina on March 24, one day after she was reported missing. At first, her death was believed to not be suspicious, but a man was arrested in Surrey Hills yesterday. Now he's been charged with murder. Police allege the man had a physical altercation with the victim.
So let me take you to the Daily Telegraph. They say court Adrian Torrance, 53, charged with that murder charge. They say the moment a probe into the accidental drowning of tragic teen Audrey Griffin turned into a murder investigation has been revealed in new police documents. They say the Daily Telegraph can exclusively reveal police will allege Adrian Torrance had a physical altercation, they keep using that word, with Audrey Griffin in which she screamed and attempted to fight him off, resulting in DNA transferring to her fingernail. Police allege Torrance then struck her on the left side of her face, which either knocked her unconscious and caused her to drown, or that he deliberately held her under the water. It marks a shock development in the case police had repeatedly insisted was not thought of as suspicious for weeks. And as recently as last Thursday, they had appealed for public assistance in identifying a man shown on CCTV that they are now allege is the man they have arrested, Torrance. In documents seen by the Daily Mail, police allege the case became a murder investigation only after a witness recognized Torrance in the image. The document states Miss Griffin was visiting friends on the Central Coast from Sydney the night she died, with her last known movements being Punt Bridge in Erina. She had sent 2 Snapchat videos to a friend which showed her walking home and linked her location on Snap Maps. And they're saying here she had earlier parted ways with her ex-boyfriend in the Gosford CBD after drinking with him and another friend at a pub, saying she was going to take an Uber back to Terrigal. The document states police will allege Torrance phone pinged at 2:43 a.m. near Pateman Road in Erina, where Miss Griffin's body was later found. When Miss Griffin didn't return home the next morning, her friends tried to contact her several times before she was reported missing at 3:45 p.m. that afternoon. The friend she was staying with who reported her missing then went to her last known location and discovered her handbag dumped in bushland. Police then found her body laying face down in the Erina Creek, with her cause of death then deemed to be a drowning. The document states she had a number of scratches to her upper arms and a mark to the left side of her face that could have been caused by blunt force injury, but no defensive injuries. An unnamed witness who lived near the border of Erina Creek told police about 3 a.m. on March 23 that she heard a high-pitched scream which lasted about a minute, but she had dismissed it as a fox. So fox often make that scream that sometimes sounds like a woman screaming. So I get why she may have thought it was that. Torrance was arrested as he left a Surrey Hills home and charged with Miss Griffin's murder and a number of DV-related offences against his former partner. Torrance has been represented by a high-profile criminal lawyer, and he did not appear in Downing Centre local court on Thursday, and his matter was swiftly adjourned. So he's been remanded in custody, and he'll next face court on June 20. So we've got a couple of months wait on that. We won't hear back from this one until June. But what luck in finding that there was something under her fingernail that could, basically tag her killer with DNA. It's like her last thing on Earth was to, basically identify her killer. That is crazy. And it's even more crazy that the cops thought that this was an accidental drowning or some sort of, non suspicious type thing. and it turns out the entire time it was a murder. So, attempted SA, I haven't seen any charges. I mean, that's where your mind goes, especially with this type of thing, especially like 3 a.m. in the morning. A young lady's walking home and someone attacks her. That is definitely where your mind goes, but I don't. Sounds like he's only been charged with her murder, and then the other 11 charges are related to DV offenses that are not related to Audrey Griffin, but are related to a separate woman that used to be Torrens' partner. So I don't. Hold on. Yeah, we will check that out in a minute. I know you all just saw that red thing that popped up. Yeah, I will look at that in a second. Yeah, so it's understood Miss Griffins and Torrens were not known to each other, and this was literally a random attack. Pretty rare. They don't happen that often. For that to happen is pretty frightening. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any suggestion of SA. I'm not sure why you would do this, but seems he has a penchant for hurting women because he's got 11 other charges that relate to his former partner. So, DNA evidence under the fingernail. It is a tale as old as time. I was actually reading a story about the Night Stalker in WA and how for many years they were unable to link the victims together. They finally did because in the back of a forensic fridge was a thumbnail from one of the victims that they had never tested. Never ever tested. No DNA test in like 30 years. They finally, at the back of the fridge, it was like in this bottle from like 1991. They found it and they tested it and were able to link together separate sexual assaults and R word and murder. No, this is in WA. This is a different guy. WA. Maybe they didn't call him the Night Stalker. Maybe Ping's being crazy. It's not Richard Ramirez. This is in there is a WA Night Stalker about someone completely different. That is a great series, by the way. If you've never watched it, really good series. If you've never watched that one, hold on. Not Gary Ridgway. W. Bradley Edwards. So it's the Claremont killer. Sorry, I don't know where's Ping's mind today. It's the Claremont killer. This guy. This is when before they figured out it was him. Before they even knew it was a Telstra worker, they had a victim that I'm pretty sure it was Ciara Glennon. It was her sample from her thumb that they found in a fridge, and then they finally they were like, "Oh, what are we doing with this? Has anyone tested this before?" And everyone's like, "I don't think anyone's going to answer your question because it was so long ago. They've all retired." Well, should we test it? And everyone's like, well, yeah, sure, we should probably do that. And then they finally did that and were able to link these together to the Claremont killer, Bradley Edwards. And it was the first time they started connecting these spider webs of victims to him, possibly one of WA's most prolific SA, R word, murderers against women. He has victims to this day that they've unable to convict him on, but they fully believe that he is responsible for those murders. But reading about this other lady and how it was her fingernail and DNA found under it. I know it's really common, but it just reminded me of that. So if she had never done that, who knows if they ever would have found Adrian Torrens. Maybe they would never have done so. Maybe this would have been a cold case we would have talked about for, you know, decades. Maybe that's the difference between a cold case and a case that is solved. It's luck about finding DNA and things to connect to your victim and your killer. So that also happened in this particular case as well, a very well-known case in Western Australia. But yeah, it's very strange. Even a couple of weeks ago in Audrey's case, they had put out this CCTV and they were like, "Hey, if anyone knows this guy, he may have information on what happened to Audrey." But nothing suspicious happened. No, no, this is just, a girl died from misadventure. Now they're like, "Oh, it was definitely murder." It's crazy how that just changed overnight. It was like, no, it's definitely a murder now. But I'm glad they've figured it out. That would have been justice gone wanting had they just said, "Oh, really is nothing suspicious here. Girl just randomly died in a creek." So glad they figured that out, and her family don't have to be waiting for answers. They know what happened to their girl. All right. I just wanted to see what this update was that flashed up. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So there hasn't been a lot of new information in the Bankstown abduction. I've been following it every day. There's not really been a whole lot of new information. The new information that I have had, I've already told you. You guys have already heard it. But this popped up just a few minutes ago. Bombshell claims emerge about partner of mum kidnapped from her home and brutally murdered as detectives detail drug lab raid. Police claim the partner of a Sydney mother who was kidnapped and murdered in a clearly targeted attack at her home was actively involved in an organized crime group. Did anyone not see that coming? No way. That is brand new information. I think most of us guessed that's probably what it was. Um, yeah, that sound. I mean, I think we all had a feeling because the fact that he was out of town for so long, over a month, and she was at home with the children, it just seemed like that they couldn't find him, so they went after her. And I think I even said that very early on, that was always my theory. Not saying it's true, but that's just what this particular article is saying. One thing that they're saying here, though, they're saying when her body was found in that car that had been set alight and burned, they're now saying police cannot rule out that she was burned alive. I thought we read the other day that they said that she was dead before the car was set on fire. Now they're saying that they can't rule out that she may have been alive at the time. That is a very brutal death. If you are in a car that's been set alight and you can't get out, that is really not cool. That is a very horrific death. Um, yeah, so when they say something like that, police cannot rule out that she was burned alive. I would say that they have already completed her basic autopsy. I would think so by now. It's been almost a week. They would have done this urgently to find out any clues or information. If you watch enough true crime, you know why they might be saying this. And it's probably because they may have found ash in her airways or something like that. So when people are alive, they often find things like this. So they're saying the postmortem is tomorrow. Well, they'll find out if she was alive, there'll be telltale signs that she inhaled gases or any type of carbon or ash, anything like that, it gets into your airways, and then when you die, it stays there. So if they can find anything, it depends how hot the fire got. It depends on a few things, but I don't know why they would be putting this out right now when a few days ago they were saying, oh, they believe she was probably already dead before the car was set on fire. Now they're trying to walk that back a bit. So strange. Don't know why they would do that. This is a bit of sad information too. They're saying that 8-year-old boy who was hit in the head with a baseball bat did undergo surgery for the serious head injuries, but they're saying that he may suffer lifelong complications as a result of those injuries he sustained. But yeah, if this is the way this investigation is going to go, then I think we all understand what probably happened here. It sounds like someone was looking for revenge for something. Anyway, there's a nice photo of Miss Tran. It's a lovely photo. I didn't see a new press update. Did you? I didn't see one. Let me have a look. Let me have a quick look. Was there a new from New South Wales Police? Let me have a look. Okay. They did like 10 minutes ago. All right, I'm going to take you to the ABC.
This video contains content that may be confronting.
New South Wales Police believe the kidnapping and killing of a 45-year-old woman in Sydney's southwest last week has links to an organised crime network. The woman was taken by force from her Bankstown home on Thursday night by 5 armed men. Reporter Ethan Ricks joins us now. Hi there, Ethan. So police provided an update a short time ago. What can you tell us?
Good afternoon, Mel. Well, what we learned today is that New South Wales Police have possibly found a likely motive for what they say was a vicious and callous attack on innocent people. I'll take you back through the timeline they've been able to build so far. It was on Thursday night. They say 5 men broke into a home in Bankstown in Sydney's southwest where they seriously assaulted a 45-year-old woman. Now, that woman's 2 children, aged 8 and 15, were witnesses to that assault, and police say the 8-year-old boy was hit on the head with a baseball bat during that altercation and has since remained in an induced coma in hospital. Now, after that, police believe the woman was taken out of her home and put in the back of a dark-coloured SUV. A short time later, emergency crews were called to a car fire in the nearby suburb of Beverly Hills. And when firefighters were eventually able to extinguish that blaze inside that car, they found the body of a woman. And while a post-mortem is still yet to confirm the identity of that body, New South Wales Police strongly believe it is the body of that 45-year-old woman who was kidnapped from her home. In the meantime, police have been investigating a possible motive, like you said. At the time, the de facto partner of that woman and the father of the children was in Victoria working. They say he is known to police for a number of minor drug-related charges, but it's his links to a criminal organisation that has led them to assessing that this was a targeted attack. Here's what police revealed just a short time ago.
We believe that the motivation is a clear result of the male partner's involvement with an organised crime network. It appears the male was in some form of conflict with members of that particular organised crime group. We believe that this organised crime group are based in Victoria and that they are responsible for large-scale drug manufacture.
Now, police wouldn't reveal exactly what that conflict was, but they do believe it is related to that large-scale drug manufacturing. Now, shortly afterwards, Victorian police conducted a raid on a rural property where they uncovered a large-scale meth lab. Now, that was vacant at the time and no arrests have since been made. Police also revealed that they believe that the 5 people who broke into that Bankstown home were of Vietnamese descent, but they say there is no evidence to suggest that the heads of this criminal organisation have any links to Southeast Asia. In the meantime, police believe the 8-year-old is likely to be awoken from his coma in the short next few days or so, and they would like to see how he recovers.
Yeah, so this is what tends to happen in very early stages of investigations. You hear all sorts of absolute nonsense from police, the media, everyone. They don't know what's going on. Sources tell media absolute crap. They're trying to scramble to get stories together, and things often get misconstrued or just bad information. The fact that all the media articles for the last 4 or 5 days have been saying, "Oh, she's innocent, but so is the husband." I mean, it's very strange. Now all of a sudden they flip again and they're like, "Oh no, he's definitely got, links to organized crime and major drug manufacturing." The fact he was out of state working, and I do working in this kind of air quote too, sounds like they've figured out what happened here. This was payback. This was revenge for some sort of grievance that happened. He came back to New South Wales to be with his children. Where he is now, I don't know. Probably under police guard somewhere. Gayla said we kept saying it had to be closer than just an associate. Exactly. Sorry, had to cough and I didn't want you guys to hear it. Gayla said, yeah, it just didn't make sense when they're like, oh, it's someone that knows her. Like, I've never heard of a drug gang abducting like a cousin or like, someone that's more than one step removed from the victim. You know what I mean? Like, the known person has to be like within that 1 degree of separation. It can't be like, it's not your auntie's boyfriend that had a child out of wedlock and it's him. No, like it doesn't work that way. It's always someone really close to the victim. And it sounds like probably our original theory was correct. They were trying to get to the husband through the wife. They couldn't find him, so they went after her. It's a tale as old as time. It's been done 1 billion times in organized crime. It's just been said 1 billion times. Husband was in Queensland. Yeah, he's in hospital with his children. I know that. He'd be under police guard, 100%. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Stolen methamphetamine? We'll see. It does sound like that they raided a drug lab in Victoria today. Let me see if I can find anything about that raid. I'm surprised it's not in the local media here. Hold on. Police raid. Yeah, it's a Viper one. I don't want that. Although Viper raids are pretty cool. No, we want 24 hours. I don't see anything that says that they did a raid today. I don't see anything like that. But I mean, I know they said it in the... Yeah. Actually, I do see something. In the Age. Sydney woman murdered over husband's organised crime links, according to police. They say a Sydney woman was abducted in front of her 2 children, murdered and set alight. Wow, we don't know yet. We don't know if she was murdered and then set alight or set alight and killed. Bad wording from the Age. But they say here, detectives say her husband stole drugs from an organised crime network he allegedly worked for. Police have also revealed they raided a drug lab linked to the criminal group. According to the detective superintendent, commander of New South Wales Police Homicide Squad, said Tran's alleged murder was a direct result of her husband's conflict with a Victorian organised crime network. Organised crime, hey? They still said this type of violence against an innocent family member is rare, even in organized crime. So they must be really pissed off that their drugs went missing. They said the organized crime network was believed to be involved in large-scale methamphetamine manufacturing and was made up of predominantly Vietnamese males. But he added there was no information or evidence suggesting the leaders of the group were linked to Southeast Asia organized crime groups. So they could just be local. Detectives executed a search warrant at a vacant rural property west of Melbourne that had been used as a drug lab. No one was at the property at the time of the raid and no arrests have been made. So, yeah, there you go. They are definitely saying that they are close to cracking this and figuring out where this came from. A Canadian shipment. So did he take it or it just didn't get through Border Patrol? I want to know if it's that. They issued multiple search warrants. Hold on. Multiple. I just want to see if they put anything up in the Herald. Because if there was something that, was interesting, they normally... It's weird that this is not like a front page story of the Herald. Let's go to Victoria. Bizarre. Bizarre that they're not running it. So they're not even running this story, which you would think would be very... Yeah, police in the courts. Let's go police in the courts. Yeah, very strange that they're not... Just not running the story. How strange. Yeah, no big headline in here. They'd rather talk about the football and the Pope. That's all they want to talk about. You see, no story about this going on in the Herald. The Age had a little bit, but not much. They'd rather talk about the Pope too. There you go. They'd rather talk about the Pope dying. Let's have a look. Anything here with JD Vance? I don't want to know about JD Vance. Yeah, I'm surprised this is not like front page news, to be honest. But at least we now know probably what's going on. Profiler said 32-year-old man from Melbourne CBD employed as a logistics business allegedly used his position to transport substituted methamphetamine upon its arrival in Australia. So substituted? Normally when they say that, it's because the AFP has switched it over with some sort of a dummy product. So they often do this. They'll find shipments, remove the actual drugs, and replace it with dummy, drugs. Put a tracker in it, and watch it go wherever it's going. Watch the place it ends up, and when all the people turn up to get their drugs, they arrest them. So I don't know if that's what was going on. Story of today was the Pope dying. Yeah, late last night I saw it happened not long after we got off the air. Junior says, Ping, what's your shirt size in US sizing? I got no idea. I wear a large or an XL, depending on the manufacturer. Carolina said, it's so funny every time you and all Europeans say CBD. In the US, it means weed. So CBD here means Central Business District. So that's what it means here. Sunshine North charged with attempting to possess a commercial quantity of imported border control drugs. Yeah, but they're saying no one was arrested over this. So I think this must be something different, because they're saying no one was arrested at that property and no one was arrested in relation to the lab. So are these unrelated and they're just very similar? Because they're saying no one's been arrested unless they're trying to keep it quiet. Let me try to go to New South Wales Police. Hold on. New South Wales Police. Because I want to watch the press conference for myself. Let's see. Just trying to see if the cops put up the press conference or not. I'm not seeing it. 9 News. Can have a look. I just want to hear the words out of their mouth, not what they're trying to say. Are you serious? They're doing the whole Vatican live cam. So I remember when there was a past Pope elected and you watch the smoke and all that type of thing. You're like, oh my God, they're going to elect a new Pope. Let's see. Australian Federal Police, not Federal Police. Huh, okay. It must have been a private press conference or something, because I can't see the link for it. Normally you can. Normally they'll put it up, but I don't see it. 5 hours ago. No. I don't see it. I don't know where they actually did this press conference, but I can't get a copy of it. I was hoping we could hear it ourselves, because sometimes these media people twist words around and make it seem like something it is not. So they didn't run it today. Charged with murder. All right. Give me a sec. I just want to scrub through this and see if we can. When was it? About an hour ago. All right. It sounds like the same video I already played you is basically here. What is they saying here? Good work, Ping. I had it and then I.
On a drug-related.
There we go.
5 armed men. Reporter Ethan Ricks joins us now. Hi there, Ethan. So police provided an update a short time ago. What can you tell us?
Good afternoon, Mel. Well, what we learned today is that New South Wales Police have possibly found a likely motive for what they say was a vicious and callous attack on innocent people. I'll take you back through the timeline they've been able to build so far. It was on Thursday night. They say 5 men broke into a home in Bankstown in Sydney's southwest, where they seriously assaulted a 45-year-old woman. Now, that woman's 2 children, aged 8 and 15, were witnesses to that assault, and police say the 8-year-old boy was hit on the head with a baseball bat during that altercation and has since remained in an induced coma in hospital hospital. Now, after that, police believe the woman was taken out of her home and put in the back of a dark-coloured SUV. A short time later, emergency crews were called to a car fire in the nearby suburb of Beverly Hills. And when firefighters were eventually able to extinguish that blaze inside that car, they found the body of a woman. And while a post-mortem is still yet to confirm the identity of that body, New South Wales Police strongly believe it is the body of that 45-year-old woman who was kidnapped from her home. In the meantime, police have been investigating a possible motive. Like you said, at the time, the de facto partner of that woman and the father of the children was in Victoria working. They say he is known to police for a number of minor drug-related charges, but it's his links to a criminal organisation that has led them to assessing that this was a targeted attack. Here's what police revealed just a short time ago.
We believe that the motivation is a clear result of the male partner's involvement with an organised crime network. It appears the male was in some form of conflict with members of that particular organised crime group. We believe that this organised crime group are based in Victoria and that they are responsible for large-scale drug manufacture.
Now, police.
So I find that weird. If he was in Victoria for work and the crime gang is in Victoria doing crime things, why did they send a death squad to New South Wales to kill his wife? Why didn't they just kill him in Victoria? I don't really understand that. That's a very strange, like, I sort of thought he was on the run in Victoria hiding, but if the crime gang this is where they're based in Victoria, you think they would have a much better chance of finding him down here than having to go up into Sydney to track down his wife. It's very strange. I don't know. Maybe they really wanted their drugs back. It's hard to know. I think when we get more details about what that drug setting was, not to say the profile is wrong, but I want to know what exactly that drug dispute is over. Did a shipment come in and the AFP substituted drugs for dummy drugs, and the gang is pissed off that they didn't get their shipment? Or did something else happen and the husband took drugs from the network and didn't deliver them or something like that, and sold them and kept the money, or I don't know, used it? Who knows? Which part of it is. Oh, they didn't even extort her though. I mean, that would make sense if they kidnapped her and kept her for a period of time, but they didn't even do that. Within 1 hour, she was dead. That's not an extortion. That's a hit job. If you were going to extort someone, you would hold them at a secondary location and be like, sending videos to the husband, like, we've got your wife, we're going to kill her. Tell us where the drugs are, whatever, whatever it is. Not just like abduct her from her home and set her on fire within 1 hour. That's a very like bang bang type of thing. It's just very quick. So it doesn't make sense of an extortion plot. Well, I'd like to know more about that. Like why that's such a, like, what happened to make them do that? Because like the cop said, it's pretty rare that they target someone that's not the actual individual. Normally they'd rather just kill the person who did the wrong thing, not kill the wife. Yeah, either way, pretty bad. But I think a lot of people guess what this was probably over as soon as we talked about it 5 days ago. So I don't think it should come from a shock to anyone. Thavi said, "Oh, I'm sorry. You guys are just having a bad time, Thavi." Carolina says they would have had to believe he either had money or drugs hidden, or they would have killed him. Yeah, maybe they think he knows where the rest of the drugs are. why I don't understand why kill the wife then. It sort of breaks their hold on him. Now that they've killed his wife, well, like what does he care about helping them anymore? He'd rather get killed. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I need to see more about the evidence here. I'm just gonna have a check here. Let's go to this one. I want to see if anyone else is reporting on the raid. Sunshine West. There was, it's interesting in Western Melbourne, actually, only a little while ago, at the start of the month, there was a big raid in Western Melbourne. Two Melbourne brothers charged over alleged 80-kilo cocaine importation plot, and 3 firearms were seized. These men were from Seabrook and Sunshine. They said they identified a RIP crew allegedly linked to the brothers was looking to target a shipping container being held at the Port of Melbourne. A RIP crew is a group of professionals hired by criminal syndicates to retrieve illegally imported drugs from high security areas. The AFP worked with the Australian Border Force to identify and inspect the crew's container. AFB officers allegedly found more than 80 kilos of cocaine and 2 GPS trackers hidden inside the shipment of industrial machinery. The AFP removed the illicit drugs and substituted them with an inert substance before returning the container to the shipping yard to allow for covert surveillance. See, I told you this is what they do. Oftentimes they find the drugs, take them away, put something else like some drug look-alike, put it where it's supposed to be, and then they just watch and they wait for the people to show up and take the drugs. And as soon as they do that, they just raid them and get them. This is a trick they have used since the dawn of time. So they say on April 2nd, 2025, the AFP executed search warrants in the Melbourne suburbs of Seabrook, Sunshine, Dallas, and West Melbourne. Police seized multiple mobile phones, blocks of the substituted illicit consignment, a high-powered rifle, 2 pistols, ammunition, and various quantities of drugs and drug paraphernalia, cash, and jewelry. So this was only like a few weeks ago. I don't know if it's got anything to do with this particular case, but there you go, $80 million of coke that was seized in West Melbourne only a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, there you go. I don't know if this was the same people, but being that it's only a few weeks ago, it's very interesting. But yeah, this is something they do often. I think they do it in America too, but not as often. I don't know why American police and border patrol don't use this technique as much, but it is a staple of the AFP. The AFP and ABF have used it. They use it all the time. Anytime they find any illicit shipment, they just take the real drugs out, put something fake there, and then do a controlled delivery. And then they'll raid your property and you'll be charged with importing some sort of substance. Yeah, but there's no connection here. Like I'm saying, I just said it is one from that area, but there's nothing here that says that these are the people. It's in a similar area. But they said here the men appeared before the Melbourne Magistrates Court in early April. So they've been in jail for a while. If this had anything to do with the stuff in Sydney, if this was either of the people that are involved, wouldn't they say that the husband was in jail or one of his associates was in jail? Gayla said pings, they use it so much there's a program on it. Is there? Yeah, I would want to know how this is connected to the husband, though. If he's not the one that was supposed to go pick it up and be part of the rip crew, then how's it connected to him? Rachel said, "Yeah, I hope Tharvey gets better. That is pretty crap." All right, let me see. Yeah, all right, I'm going to leave this story. I got more stories that I want to talk to you about. If I can get to it. Where is it? Not this one. There's a story about a guy who was shot and killed in Melbourne, and there was some CCTV. Yeah, here. So they shot and killed this young man here. I'll show you. Sorry, it's a blurry photo. Maybe I can open it in a different thing for you. There. So they shot and killed him. And he's a Somali refugee, was shot dead by Victorian police in Footscray last Thursday night. And they're saying here he charged at police with a knife in front of horrified diners in Footscray. And pretty rare, they don't tend to release this type of footage, but hopefully it'll play. Let's have a look.
Someone shoot? Who is it?
A knife-wielding man was shot dead in Footscray after charging at police. 2 officers responded to reports of a man roaming Albert Street with a knife around 9 p.m. on Thursday. They ordered him to drop the weapon, but he charged.
Yeah, I'm going to pause the narration here just to show you the video. So, as you can see at the first bit, they told him to drop the weapon, and then they fired on him. This is the middle of Footscray in Melbourne, and he died from his injuries from being shot. So, doesn't happen super often here, although Victorian police do have a reputation for, shooting first and asking questions later. That used to be their motto. And knife-wielding man. So I wanted to bring this to you because we don't often get that type of onlooker or body cam type footage in Australia, not like in the USA. But they're saying 2 officers who shot dead a knife-wielding man at a busy western suburb shopping strip fired at him at close range. They say in the footage obtained exclusive by the Herald Sun, the officers could be seen slowly walking up to the 35-year-old with their guns drawn just seconds after opening fire at home in Footscray on Thursday night. Police say members were forced to shoot him, Mr. Ahmed, a Somali refugee who had no fixed address and suffered from poor mental health, refusing to drop his weapon and lunged at them. Then they said it comes as protesters were set to gather at the scene of his death on Tuesday afternoon to demand answers from the Victorian Premier. And they're asking, why was he shot to death and not tasered, or why did they not deploy pepper spray? So that's what they want to ask with their protest. Let me see if I can find you the actual news story. Man shot. Yeah, I'm going to take you out here where it first happened a number of days ago. Yeah, this one.
Good evening. Senior police are defending the actions of 2 officers who both opened fire on a man in front of shocked diners in Footscray. He charged at them armed with a knife, triggering the deadly takedown that some witnesses claim was heavy-handed.
Havoc in the heart of Footscray. A man shot dead by 2 police officers who were responding to a 000 call. The suspect was brandishing a knife.
Stay away from the area if you can. Police drew their firearms and challenged the male to drop the knife. I'm told he didn't and charged at police armed with the knife.
It happened around 9 o'clock last night in front of distressed locals.
The cops just went bah bah. They were working on the guy for a while and then you could tell they gave up.
Some say the response from the sergeant and constable was heavy-handed.
Very little warning, nothing. I was there. 2 cops had the option to use tasers, pepper spray.
In this circumstances, the members deemed that the firearm was appropriate. There are a number of shopping centres nearby, and that will certainly form part of the investigation in terms of how this person came to be in possession of a knife.
Today, witnesses returned to the scene on the corner of Albert and Paisley Streets, along with churchgoers.
So I don't mean to make light of a very serious situation, but I find it quite funny that the top cops, like, you know, there was a bunch of people here, people having a nice meal at shopping centers, a lot of innocent people around. So our officers decided that firing into the crowd was the best idea. Not deploying something like a taser or pepper spray, which won't spread past the area, but bullets. But just fire them. Which direction do they go? I don't know. But into the crowd, into the people eating dinner, could be any of them. It just sounds funny the way he described it. It's not funny, Ping. Someone died. Someone died, all right? It's not funny. No, I know, but apparently they are now protesting. Look, protests.
Homicide Squad detectives will now take over the investigation with oversight from the Professional Standards Command, which is common practice when there's been a police shooting.
They have my full support.
Last week, local police committed to upping patrols in the area. This morning, just an hour after officers left the scene, more wild behaviour. 7 News witnessed a man smashing the glass at bus stops.
In terms of the drug issues down there, that may have been the focus of the operation. Sadly, you'll see that across a number of different suburbs across the state. I don't want to single out Footscray.
Sarah Jones, 7 News.
And state political reporter Rochelle Brown has the fallout from Footscray. Rochelle, a community rally is being held there tonight in response to the shooting.
Well, Mitch, dozens of residents have banded together here tonight for a special vigil. They were lighting candles just moments ago and are now hosting speeches, raising awareness of the issues in the area. Now, we just heard moments ago about the promise of upping police patrols. People here say that's simply not the answer.
I don't really understand. They're like, calm down, everyone. You're very angry about the fact that we shot someone. All right, we get it. Someone died. We get your grief. We know that this seemed like the worst case scenario. So what we're going to do, we're going to give you exactly what you want. We're going to make sure there's more police with guns walking around the area. You know, we're going to give the people what they want. So it just seems like they're doing the opposite of what everyone wants. It's a bit strange. First, they're like, yes, we thought the only option we had was to fire our guns at close range with many people eating dinner around the area. Where do stray bullets go? Who knows? And then they're like, what we're going to do, we're going to bring more police. That's what you want, right? You guys want more police with guns walking around your area. Who writes this stuff for them? Gayla said, so did any of them care when he was alive? Well, I don't know. They just were like, drop the weapon. We have firearms. That's it. Profile said, I'm angry. I'm sorry. I don't ever talk about this stuff, but it infuriates me. Yeah. Joe Neal said he's with the Virgin Angels. Could be. Hope there's Virgin Angels when I get up there. Come on, Virgins. Wait for ping. Yeah, it's a strange story. I think the police response is a little strange too. And this guy, what's this guy doing? He's like, I'm so angry. I don't like it when people get shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vandalize bus stops. You know, we all hate bus stops in life. I'm going to break all the glass because that shows my intent to be angry about this situation. What a weirdo. What? Here he goes. Walking down the street. Hey, look, can we see his thing of when he broke all the glass? He looks like he's drunk. There he goes. Break the windows. That's a glass hammer too. He's got one of those orange car hammers. Yeah, let's listen to this guy again.
Down there, that may have been the focus of the operation. Sadly, you'll see that across a number of different suburbs across the state. I don't want to single out Footscray.
Sarah Jones, 7.
Well, I'm glad you don't want to single out Footscray. You know, it'd be very like racist against suburbs. Gayla says, who just walks down the street carrying a glass hammer? That guy, apparently. What's he doing with it? No idea. Journey else said, I'm sure he was high as a kite, like in Black Hawk Down. Stop with the woo-woo? Yeah. That was a weird story, but I get why people are a little upset. It seems like a very forceful response, but at the same time, I think if you look at the other side of the coin, people would be like, well, what if he stabbed someone? What if this was like the Bondi shopping center thing where he got into a shopping center and killed like 8 people? People would have been like, well, why didn't you shoot him earlier? You can never win, it seems. You can never win. You either want to shoot people early or you want to shoot them late. There is no middle ground about shooting people with knives, apparently, in Australia. I don't know anything more about whether they're still protesting down there, but it seems like from my articles that they might be. Yeah, let's get rid of this and let's go here. Go back. I just want to see if they put out an update on the protest. Yeah, let's have a look. Are they still protesting down there? Shooting Mr. Ahmed. Yeah, that's that footage. Oh, can we see it? So there's the cops. And they just okay, they already shot him. So you don't actually see when they shoot him, you just see the aftermath of it when he's already been shot. And they kind of creep up to him. They're like, "Oh, mate, don't move. Stop resisting." So yeah, I don't see any too much more about it. Whether they're still down there, but yeah, there you go. Man killed in Melbourne. Marilander says, wouldn't comply with the officers. That's true. Profiler said, I served my time what I did, but when you have that coming at you, what do you want us to do? I know. I just find their wording funny. Ping finds the way people word things a bit funny sometimes. All right. Let's go here. So, did you all get to hang out and talk Laurie Vallow with Trish earlier? I found that, you know, I hope we get a fast result tomorrow and this can all be over. This has been basically the Laurie Vallow show. That's what this entire 2 weeks has been. It's been a dog and pony show for Laurie Vallow. That's it. And you could tell even in court, even today, the judge is like, Laurie, stop testifying. Like every 2 seconds, he's like, you're doing it again. Stop testifying. You can only talk about stuff that's been submitted into evidence. Like every time. Every time she opens her mouth in court, the judge is like, oh my God. Do we have to do this again? And it's been like that for 2 weeks, basically. Journey also, cops are trained to back off now, are they? Back off and fire from a distance, maybe. Yeah, so they're now in jury watch. I think it's going to be quick. Ping still thinks it's going to be a fast turnaround. They got out pretty late today with that jury instruction and into verdict watch. I think it's going to turn around probably by tomorrow. Yeah, she needs to shut up. I hate the idea that I know it's her legal right, but I feel like everyone just fed into Lori Vallow by giving her the opportunity to defend herself when she had a lawyer, right? I'm pretty sure. I haven't watched a lot of it, but I heard she had legal counsel with her anyway. So it was like, why did she need to get up on the stand and talk? She had a lawyer with her, or a legal assistant anyway. And Gail said, I personally thought it was the most boring end to a case. Listening was hard. Listening to Lori Vallow is very draining. She is not the brightest woman, and she says the same things over and over again. But I hope that's it. We got one more trial. It's Brandon Boudreaux, and that one should be actually very interesting. To me, I think out of the ones that I think I would watch, I think it's Brandon's. The facts and the evidence in that one are really give you the background into Lori Vallow and their little gang. I think when that original subpoena, was it a subpoena or affidavit? I'm not sure which one. I think it was an affidavit. When that originally came out like 3 years ago, it blew the lid off what was going on behind the scenes with Lori Vallow and her brother and everyone else, Chad, and his brother's wife and all that. It really showed the background into what was going on with that little cohort. And I think Brandon Boudreaux's trial will be the most interesting one if you're into that type of thing anyway. Retired RN said, I think it'll be a fast verdict. Yeah, I think tomorrow you'll get a verdict. The fuck's calling me? Oh, shush. Shush. Rachel said the legal counsel only advises her apparently. Oh, really? Okay. Like I said, I haven't watched. Let me have a look. Yeah, so jury begins deliberations. So that is good news. I have a feeling I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and there's already going to be a verdict. That's Ping's opinion. All right. Yeah. So I'm not going to do too much of an update. That's my comments on the Lori Vallow thing. And then, sorry, I almost coughed. Sorry about that. I want to take you to Licking County. So the story I brought you the other day, the new Albany SA investigation, there was an update today and they have indicted over those allegations. Remember that one I brought you where they said there was a girl who said she'd been abused over 100 times? There is an update, big update in that. So we're going to take you there. I'm going to let you watch that so I can go have a drink. I think I'm going to cough again. Bloody hell. All right, here we go.
Returned a 27-count indictment against Gary Thomas Kesey Jr. on various sex-related criminal offenses. I would just like to talk a little bit about the investigation, the process. Licking County received this case on February 7th. So over the period of a couple of months, these investigators worked hard, spoke to many various, I want to say, witnesses, victims, and the result is the indictments that were returned today. It's been a case that's drawn a lot of attention, but I just want to make sure everyone realizes that our focus is on the victims. That's what matters to us. The victims in this case, unfortunately, had to wait. It's my understanding that that there were victims that came forward as early as December. We received the case in February. There were a couple of agencies that looked at doing the investigation. They opted not to for their reasons. But when we were asked, we felt obligated, the churches in our county, and we felt that justice wasn't being served to these victims. So that was our purpose for taking the case. As for the indictments and the breakdown of that, I'll let Jenny Wells speak to that.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. Thanks everybody for coming here today. I do want to commend the Licking County Sheriff's Office for their extensive investigation, which led to the case being presented today to the Knox County Grand Jury. They did a thorough investigation that took them to multiple states and led them to tracking down somewhere near 40 witnesses that they've interviewed. And this case is far from over at this point. But as the sheriff said, it was time for us to move forward with the information we had at this time and present the case. So today, the Knox County heard testimony and did return that 27 indictment that the sheriff spoke about, involving 3 victims of sexual abuse who have come forward. These courageous young women have spoken out and come forward, and they are to be commended for their bravery and supported. They're very serious charges that we've considered and the grand jury voted on: 11 counts of rape, 11 counts of gross sexual imposition, and 5 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. And as I indicated, that the investigation is still ongoing, and we simply would ask, and I'm asking on behalf of the sheriff's office as well, that anyone who has any information or anybody who has been a victim, that they still can come forward and share that information.
So they wouldn't talk whether there was going to be any more people come forward or whether they thought any more charges might be forthcoming in this particular one. What they did say that the charges that have already been laid by the grand jury are very serious and carry a lot of jail time. So they believe right now, at least, that is a good starting point. The other question that got asked was, did any of the impropriety or R-word or essay, did any of it happen on church property? The answer was no. But that is not the full story. All of the victims in this particular case were at one point or another members of that church during the time they were offended against. Didn't happen at the church, but it happened, I guess, in an environment surrounding the church. So I'm sure the church will come out and say that, whoa, we didn't know anything about it. Didn't happen on our property. We're good people. We didn't do anything wrong. Some other people will say that, how could they have not known for someone who is so high ranking? And there must have been rumors for years about this. The church has come out and said that they are conducting a thorough investigation and cooperating with all investigations by the state authorities, but we'll see what happens in the future with that. Very interesting that 2 agencies previously were unable to participate in the investigations because then themselves had such conflicting relationships with the church that it was a conflict of interest, that they were unable to investigate the church because of their own personal dealings with the people involved, so closely tied with the sheriff, the state authority, that they just couldn't do it. So they had to kick it on out to Licking County, and they had to do it because they were far enough removed from the situation that they were able to do the investigation. And then we are here today. They've done a great job, turned it around, 8-week investigation, and we're able to get charges pushed through a grand jury. And that is where we are today. But when you hear those original statements by that girl, and I think they say it later on in this press conference, one of the victims says that she was abused from the age of 8 to 15. And she says over 100 times between the ages of 8 and 15. That is crazy. That is a life of being groomed. It really is, and I feel for that girl. I hope that she's getting a lot of help and support. But she's also very brave to be the one that blew the lid on this entire thing. So she's doing a great job. She really is. Let me take you out to, so it's the son of New Albany megachurch leaders indicted on 27 counts related to SA involving a minor. Gary Kesey Jr. was charged last week with 2 counts of R-word, the charges stemming from a months-long investigation into SA. Can we get a photo of Gary Thomas? Let's have a look. Gary Thomas Jr. Can we get a photo? Here he is. Here he is. Come on, Gary. Come on, come talk to us. Here you go. Here you go. Hey, Gary, how you going? How's it going with all those charges? 27, it's a lot, right? He's like, oh, yeah, Ping, I'm doing all right. You know, they got nothing on me. I'll beat the charges. Will you, Gary? Okay. That's okay. We'll see you in court. There's Mr. Gary there. And it's not funny, Ping. A girl was essayed. They're saying here, according to the indictment, the alleged crimes happened between May 2002 to October 2011. The 36-year-old man was charged with 2 counts of R-word. The charges stemming from that investigation. Yep. According to the Mount Vernon Municipal Court records, the victim made the initial report and said the abuse happened when they were 5 or 6 years old and took place on more than 50 occasions. During the investigation, 2 other victims came forward accusing Kesey Jr. of SA, according to the court documents. Kesey Jr. is the son of Gary and Dendra, and they are the leaders of Faith Life Church. The church has campuses in New Albany and Powell and has more than 3,000 members. On Christmas Eve, a report of SA involving a juvenile was filed with the Knox County Sheriff's Office. The report says the alleged abuse took place at 2 locations within the county. Officials said the victims all knew each other as children and were members of the church. So there you go. And now they've put forward those charges. Yeah, there you go. Mr. Gary on your screen right there. He's going to have a fun time in jail. And we'll see what happens when he makes it to trial. That's probably true. Hey, thanks. By the way, Carolina, thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it. It's very kind of you. I saw that at the beginning of the show, but I hadn't been able to mention it until now. Thank you very much, my friend. That'll help very much while heading out to trial. It is much appreciated. Very kind of you. And to my friend Wendy R. for sending in that super chat. Thank you to both of you. Very kind. Let's see. Gayla says he's a POS using dad's position to abuse little girls. It definitely seems like it. Definitely seems like he was using his parents' power in the community to access children. To access children that he could manipulate. Joniel says, yep, all it takes is money, but we need to give billionaires a tax break. Yeah, poor billionaires losing all their money. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Hey, Four Sons Mom, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Okay. All right, my friends. It's a little bit of a short show tonight. Unfortunately, I've got a meeting I got to head to at 5:30, and I have to go get ready and stuff. So I unfortunately have to leave you a little early tonight, but I will be back tomorrow, and it'll just be a normal show tomorrow night. And hopefully we'll have more updates. We'll see what happens with that investigation, one into Audrey Griffin. And if we get any more information on any of that, the Bankstown one and then the one in Licking County, let's see if we get anything more on those charges. I'm just having a look here. Okay. And we'll see if we get a new pope. But I heard something like they have to wait like 15 days before you can do the whole smoke and red, what is it, black smoke and white smoke or something like that. It has to wait like 14 days or morning. So we're going to wait at least probably a couple of weeks before we get to elect a new pope. So we're going to be here a while. Hey JDR, how are you, my friend? That's right. Yeah, it's 7 a.m. in the morning. Geez, go to bed. It's too late. Go to bed. You need a nice pink t-shirt. So I'm hoping to pick up our merchandise before we go to Morwell. If I don't pick it up this week, we'll probably pick it up in time for week 2 of the trial. The company we ended up choosing to do the merchandise been very good, much better than the first company, who, by the way, I never end up getting our money back from. They've been very good, but it's been a little slow, but they have been very good. They've been giving me updates every day and stuff like that, but it's just taking a little while. I'm hoping to pick it up before we go to trial. If I do, that means everyone else's packages that are owed a package should go out too. So when I get mine, you will get yours. That's the way it's sort of been paid for. So if you see me wearing one, it means your one is in the mail. So I hope we'll have them before trial because I'd like to wear them in Morwell. If not, we'll definitely have them for week 2. So it's just looking like the timeline's a little tight with Australia Post. So we'll see. Journey else says figured no. Yeah, I said before I normally wear a large or XL. It just depends on the brand. Yeah, I will. Hey, Four Sons, that's all right. It's all right. We got the replay for a reason. We got replay. How cool is that? But yeah, get ready. It's going to be, this week is going to go like that. And we're going to be in the bloody trial next week in a blink of an eye. This week's going to go so quickly that you're going to be going, oh my God, we're already at the trial. That's how it feels for me. I feel time is just dripping by so quickly right now. And we've still got so much to do. I got to do some testing of the laptop. I got to check if the microphone, because I can't take this microphone. So we're testing out a little tiny one that I can put on my shirt, and then you know it's like a little lapel microphone. So hopefully that'll work with the laptop. We've got a camera, tripod, and stabilizer to take with us. A lot of data credits so we can stream out there. Got like hundreds of gigabytes so we can stream all the time out there. So it's going to be fun. Kanye, is that it? Kanye. Ugh. Are you sure? Am I tall? I don't know what Sean John is, but yes, I'm tall. You guys will see next week. I'll be in front of the camera. You guys can see me next to normal size people. You guys, like when we have family photos, I have to stand at the back because I'm too tall, and everyone else has to be at the front. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, bloody Kanye. And Gayla says Lauren got one of Amazon that I see loads of people using it. Supposedly good. Who's Lauren? Oh, Lauren Matthias. Oh yeah. I got one. I got one from Temu, Sheen, something like that. I just got to test it. And then I got one of those stabilizers for the phone so we can film. So you can go like that, but the camera stays like straight. So we got one of those so we can film. I just got to test a little tiny microphone. So we might do that tomorrow night. I might do a live show tomorrow night from the laptop so we can see how that looks and how we... So the shows when we're in Morwell will be very basic, guys. It won't be like this where we read a bunch of different articles and things like that. I won't have control like I do here, where I can flick through different articles and pages and media and videos and so. It just will be impossible to do that on a laptop. So it'll just be me talking about the trial. So that's what you're going to get. You're not going to get too many multimedia and videos and things like that. Oh, okay. I can't say I watch a lot of Lauren, unfortunately. I just don't watch a lot of Laurie Vallow coverage. The only person I ever watch is Kresha. That's the only person I really ever watch outside of our circle of people. That's it. All right. You're 5'2", Ping's like 6'1", 6'2", so much taller than you guys. All right. Hey, I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. I've got to go get ready. So I got to go get ready, and I will see you tomorrow night. I'll see you tomorrow night for another live show on Nights with Ping. Love you all. Good night. Bye-bye. See you later. Yeah, I only watch Kresha. Yep. All right. Bye.